Just throw that in the glove box.
This car is not from the motor pool.
No, it's not. Sexy though, isn't it?
So where's the office, back at Division?
You in the office, baby. Going up. Today's a training day, Officer Hoyt. Show you around, give you a taste of the business, you know?
What's up, boys? This is training day with Tom Bardis. It is Dup Crew Fantasy Football Talk, and we're going to be talking about anything new and fresh within the league. And anything important, you're going to be getting it right here on the show. And we're going to start off this show first and foremost with last year's winner and commissioner. Proud to have him on the show as a first guest, Ben Porter. Ben, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you great.
Hey, Ben. So we have Ben Porter here. Last year's Tom Bardis champion. Huge year for you. How's the summer been as a champion here in the league?
You know, it's been pretty good. The nice part about being the champion this year is we had a bunch of friends get married. Obviously, you were at all those events, and it's nice to be the defending champ and being able to talk a lot of shit to everybody, you know, obviously when we're there. Am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
Oh, yeah, you absolutely. This is get as dirty as you'd like. There's going to be about 12 listeners, so.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's been a good summer. So we're looking forward. We're getting close to the new season now, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, so tell me how it's been being able to hoist that trophy in Chicago this summer. I mean, it's got to be a really nice summer being able to utilize that hardware.
Well, here's the thing. Our friend, Mr. Brendan Smith, still has not gotten me that trophy. So,
whoa, wait, what?
You know, I've had to just stick with bragging rights, not trophy rights. So unfortunately, he packed that up with his move from Detroit to New York, and I haven't seen that quite yet.
Holy shit. That is terrible. I'm pretty sure we should just go ahead and say if Smitty doesn't get that to you within 7 days of this broadcast, within the draft, that's a $100 fine within the league. How do you feel about that?
I'm totally fine with that. You put that towards next year's champion. I don't need the money, but I know I'm going to win this year anyways. So
okay, well, slow down.
We'll put that towards the new one.
Slow down there, okay? I mean, we appreciate what you did last year, but I wouldn't really jump the gun, okay? But I will say, $100 fine, 7 days. You heard it straight from the commissioner / champion, Smitty. If you don't send that fucking trophy, you're in trouble. So let's take a look at your stats last year. Ray, can you toss those up?
Yeah, it was a good year. Yeah, go for it. I don't have mine in front of me, so you'll have to read it out.
Yeah, well, you were 10-3, ended up first place. Pretty unbelievable. You won the championship versus. Let's see here. You had an amazing roster. Aaron Rodgers, Le'Veon Bell, Jeremy Hill, Jordy Nelson, Emmanuel Sanders, Eric Ebron, Ty Montgomery, and the Falcons and Matt Bryant as a kicker. I'd say that's a pretty strong roster. Who would you say was your number one player there that season? That's pretty obvious. Le'Veon Bell won the championship for you. He'll be mine this year.
I'd say probably Le'Veon Bell. You know, we're going to see a similar situation this year with Ezekiel Elliott. You know, yeah. Le'Veon had a 2-game suspension, so he fell to pick. I think I was pick 11 last year. I was 11 or 12, and so I grabbed him at 11. So Zeke's suspension, obviously it's 6 games. That's a little further, but he could still lead you to a championship, and there is the chance it gets reduced as well. So it's one of those just kind of lucky I was able to get Le'Veon there. I think I had D'Angelo earlier in the year to take his spot while he was suspended, and then obviously the Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson connection really helped out. I actually had Randall Cobb as well, so I hit on 2 of the 3 of them. So
wow. So if you were to be able to keep 2 players this year, who would it be?
Sorry, what was the question?
2 players from last year's roster. If you could bring them with you this year, who would it be?
Oh, gosh, it'd have to be Jordy and Le'Veon, I guess. Le'Veon's probably going to be the first or second pick, and Jordy's going to be about pick 8. So if I can get those two guys, I think quarterback's pretty deep this year, even though I loved having Rodgers last year. As a Packers fan, it's fun to cheer for your team and your fantasy team at the same time. But Jordy allows you to do that as well. It's just this year the quarterback class is, those guys are growing up, those young Jameis Winstons of the world. So I think there's going to be a lot of depth with only 12 teams in our league.
I agree with that. Which is why I'm an advocate for a 12-team system, not a 14. I know a lot of you guys are talking about adding the new 2 teams. I'm not for it. It's not for me. Another guy we're going to bring on the Snell here. We're going to bring on the show. Ryan Snell, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
Hey, there he is. Ryan Snell, one of the, I'd say, mid-level contenders last season, but that's all right. I mean, a good guy to be around, so reason why we chose him having a show, good personality. But ended up being number 7 Team Bird Dog last season, but really happy to have you on the show, man.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. Ray, can you toss up Snell's stats there from last season, if you could? Oh, Team Bird Dog. There we are. We got you. So here's what I'll say. You finished 8th last season. I was wrong. 7th was being generous. Team Bird Dog, record 6-7. That, I will say, is less than a subpar season. And what do you plan on doing this season to kind of turn that around for your squad?
Well, last season's done. I'm only looking forward to this upcoming year. So I can say that I've spent more than plenty of time doing my own research, podcasts, mock drafts, talking to our league members from time to time, getting their thoughts and insights, taking that for a grain of salt. But, I'm going for results this year, not just a nice guy to have in the league. So I am all in for 2017.
Are you?
Hey, Tommy, I don't mean to interrupt, but I heard there may be a trade going down with Mr. Snell and Mr. Street to swap.
Yeah,
I want to ask him about that.
I just had a missed call from Mr. Street.
I don't want to go in too many details here, but there's some, I've said before to Porter that the road to the playoffs for Team Bird Dog has always run through Team Street, so I'm looking to take any advantage I can away from him.
Yeah, I would just say for you, I appreciate what you're saying. At the same time, I just say maybe just focus on some wins and not necessarily on someone else. If we could go ahead and just take a look at your last season's roster here, your QB with Kirk Cousins, Devontae Booker, RB, Coleman, RB, wide receivers, Crowder, Mitchell, and Green. No one I'm seeing very notable. Your flex, Pierre Garcon, very subpar. And your D, Broncos, and your kicker, Dustin Hopkins. I literally know, I don't even know if a lot of these guys get a lot of playing time. So I'm not sure what you were thinking. But it's cool. The best part about a new season is it's fresh. You're drafting at 10 this year, which I'd say is a decent spot because you have a close second pick right after that. I'm not going to ask you who you're interested in picking first overall because I don't want to give away any of your, I wouldn't call them secrets with seeing your last year's schedule, but last year's record. But yeah, so I think that's, I'm excited to hear that you're excited. I mean, we all know that last place this year does get punished, which is going to take me into the new rules this year. If we could have Porter go ahead and talk about the new rules that we're going to implement after at the end of the season.
Before we go ahead and do that, if you don't mind, I think we have a little side bet between ourselves now that we're talking about where I'm going to finish the year and where I think you're going to finish the year. So
Sure.
If you want our listeners to be aware of that deal, would you like to make it public?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think the loser has to visit the other person. It's a full paid trip for the other person. And it's a no-brainer for me, man. That's like, I don't know.
Well,
I mean, no-brainer given the fact that's like, why don't we just while we're at it? Why don't we focus on the new rules? We'll look at my stats right after that, so you can kind of realize what you're up against, and then, but yeah, I mean, it is an all-paid trip for the loser, who finishes the season better. So,
get your checkbook ready.
Yeah, I'll be using a checkbook, and you're gonna have to try to cash that. It's gonna bounce pretty hard. So, Porter, what do you got for the rules, the new rules there?
Yeah, so same scoring system. We're still going to have the 12 teams in the league. There's some discussion. A couple of people wanted to join. But basically, two things. So last place this year is going to have to pay double, and that's going to go into the pot. So instead of being $200, it's going to be $400. So that should make it a little bit more competitive. We want to make sure nobody's doing any, kind of BS trades because they're going to be eliminated from the playoffs. So,
and if they don't, if they refuse to pay it, or if it's not paid within a certain time frame, they're booted from the league. Am I hearing that right?
Correct. Yeah, that's the second rule. If you don't pay, whether you're last or not last, if you don't pay, you're going to get booted from the league, and we're going to bring in one of the people who are on the wait list who'd like to join our league. So. We've got Craig Smith out there waiting. I know Keegan Moyer is waiting.
Oh, there's a lot of guys. I mean, that's hundreds of guys that are waiting. Hundreds.
Yep. There's a lot that are sitting out there. So basically, pay up this year and make sure you don't get last. You're going to be paying double.
Yeah, or you can choose to get a dup tattoo if you don't have one.
Maybe your last year then, Tom. That's too bad.
That's adorable.
Wow.
Odds are against definitely not me, so I'm excited. I think. Snell, I love your intensity. I always have. Ever since you picked Adrian Peterson first overall, and you did nothing with it 3 years ago. I mean, I think it's been quite a journey for you, if you will. Let's do so moving into that. Do you, Ray? Can you? Why don't we just talk about where I did land last year, if you don't mind, there, Ray, pulling those up, because I'm pretty sure I did. Lose in the semifinals, which also landed me in third place given my incredible record. I lost by a point in the finals. I'm sorry, 2.5 points. As you can see, 104 to 101.5. My record was 8-5. I'd say that was, I mean, it was better than that, if I'm being honest. The guys on my bench are just as good as everyone that's starting on Schnell's roster. Cam Newton I had, Stewart, Terrence West, pretty rough. ODB, Larry Fitzgerald, Travis Kelce, Devontae Adams. The Bills D, and Justin Tucker is a kicker, which he came through. So I am happy. Jonathan Stewart could have had a better season. I'm not gonna lie, but outside of that, I am excited. I have the first overall pick. I'd be pretty worried if I was anyone else. I really would. I'd be worried.
Are you going to give us a preview into who you're picking, or are you still thinking? I mean,
Le'Veon Bell's going on my roster, boys. I don't care what you think. I'm okay. Happy to say it out loud. Schmitty, take DJ, enjoy that. He's going to definitely sprain something this season, and the Cardinals aren't even good. So I'm really not interested in David Johnson. So, yeah, good luck with that, Schmitty. Yeah, I'm sure Schmitty will try to trade me at some point. What's that?
Oh, I guarantee he's going to try to have Le'Veon and David Johnson on his team. So just be ready for him to offer you his 8th rounder and his 10th rounder.
Yeah, for my first round. Yeah,
pick.
I know. And
if we know City, we know that trade's coming.
Guys have fallen for it many times. So
he's going to get Justin Tucker and tell you he needs to upgrade your kicker situation.
Let's move on to the top contenders this season. Who do you guys think Schnell, outside of yourself, who do you think in reality, let's go to reality for a minute and talk about who you guys think, Schnell, we'll start with you. Who are your top 2 contenders this season?
Well, I got to pay respect to the champion, Mr. Porter. I think he's going to have a great year. I think he's slotted in nicely for where he's drafting. So I definitely see him being another big contender in the league. And, I think I'm going to give a shout out to Brian Culver. I'm going to give him some props this year. I don't think he's made the playoff since I've been in the league, maybe once. He may have squeaked in there.
Is that a shout-out or is that an answer? Are you just shouting him out because you know he's not going to get much airtime this season? I'm just confused. Is that a shout-out?
I'm pretty sure he made the playoffs the last 2 years, but, good information there, Snell.
Yeah, way to come prepared. Yeah. But what I would like to know, is that a shout-out or is that someone that you're saying is in your top 2 contenders? I'm talking about your top 2.
Yeah, I'm going to throw Mr. Culver in there.
Wow, I like it.
He's going to be a sleeper in the league.
Well, so that would be our actual. And Porter, what about you?
I think I always look at, aside from myself, I've won 2. I think Street's won 2. Brendan's won 1. I mean, I look at those 2 guys, and I think actually, yourself over there, Mr. Tom, obviously the last couple of years you finished in the top 3. I think 2 or 3 straight years. So
three straight
you
years.
always
Three.
figure out 3 straight years. Okay, yep, there you go. You always figure out how to get one really good player.
Can I just say, last
build
season
around them,
I made
so
0 trades, not one. I stuck with my original team. That's pretty impressive. A lot of waiver wire pickups.
That's very impressive. Yeah, well, maybe you needed to make a trade to get to the win, so maybe think about that this year. But
maybe
I do think I think those are the contenders year in and year out.
Nice. Okay, fair enough. And we're gonna run right into the sleeper pick for the season from both of you guys. We'll start
Snell,
with
do it up.
Sleeper picks.
sleeper pick. One sleeper pick. One.
Are we talking sleeper player or pick as
Pick. No,
league
pick as in team in our league.
But you can tell us who your sleeper pick is as well, and then he won't quit for a sleeper anymore.
Yeah, just tell us who you're thinking about drafting as well, so we don't do that.
Well, let's start with sleeper teams. I'm going to go with sleeper team Tice.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
He's obviously got some good inside knowledge with his dad being in the big show and given some insider perspective. So he always seems to draft a good team and can be a decent contender. So I think he has a good year. And then I know that Connolly made some trades. I don't know if that'll help him or not. So I can see maybe him moving up a spot or two. I don't know if those guys will make the playoffs because I'm definitely taking one of the playoff spots. So those are my 2 picks for the year.
All right, fair enough. Porter, how about you?
I think I'm going to go with Mr. Riley Smith. So Riley has
that was actually mine as well.
Years. Yeah, he's a guy who's really committed to the league. He's always looking to make transactions. He's very football savvy. So he's had some bad luck recently. As I'm trying to think of who could be a sleeper after my top 4 teams that I talked about earlier. There aren't many teams that that really scare me. But Riley's a guy who I know knows what he's talking about, knows who he's drafting. So I guess not to kiss his ass too much, but I guess I'd go with Riley for my sleeper pick.
Yep, I'm with you on that. I completely agree. Riley is also my sleeper pick. He had quite a summer.
Who do you got for us, Tom?
It was mainly for me. It was kind of just what I saw his mentality this summer, which made me know he's in it to win it. So, yeah, he's my sleeper. He definitely is, and he's had some really strong seasons. And when his team scores points, they tend to score way too many points, and so that scares me a little bit. Last place prediction, real quick from each of you guys. Last place prediction, Snell, but outside of yourself, last place prediction.
Boy, you're funny one, Tom. I'm going to go Team Plummer. I just don't think Jared is engaged all year long. I think he just likes to be, with the boys and going through the motions. Not a very committed player. Not really one to pick up strong waiver wires or make decent trades. So, I just don't think his heart is in it. He's a married guy now, so he'll be pretty tied up, if not completely tied up, with his marriage life, which is great. Whitney's a great gal, but I think he's going to really lose the focus in order to make it to the playoffs this year. So Team Plummer, I see going down in a ball of flames. Yeah,
save some extra dollars, Team Plummer. You're going to be paying double. And Porter?
That's a tough one. There's so many contenders for last place. It's hard to pick. I mean, after the first 5 or 6 teams, I think everyone can get last. So that includes Snell over there. But the guy I guess I'll go with is Mr. Shane Conley.
That was my pick, too. Yeah.
Oh, man, we're on the same page.
We are. He's a sleeper last place pick.
He's basically Streeter's. Jared is Smitty's farm team. Conley is definitely Street's farm team. Teams will always be trading him, giving him players for nothing. So you got to think as soon as week 4 happens and he's 1-3, he's going to try to trade his 2 or 3 best players for Street's 5 worst players. So that's my pick.
Yep, I love it. I'm with you. Connolly never brings it to the table, unfortunately, when it comes to our fantasy football league. Does he in person? You're damn right he does. He had a great time with him this summer. But he really, I'm not even sure if he starts guys on their bye weeks. Or if he doesn't bench them on their bye weeks, I get worried. Which, if he doesn't come through and doesn't want to pay double, he's going to be out of the league real quick if he doesn't start paying attention. Last thing real quick, we don't have tons of time here. 3 idiots of the summer: Brendan Smith, Jared Plummer, and Cody Gulabev getting married. Bunch of idiots. Just want to give them a shout out.
Hey, good. More for me and you, man.
Yeah, what an idiot. Exactly.
More.
MVP of the summer for you guys. Porter.
You know, I'm gonna go with Smitty. You know, even though he did get married, you called him the idiot of the summer. You know, not to share too much about our fun at the weddings and such, but I think he brought Daryl out to play and had a great little summer there.
Yep, I agree with you. Snell, I know you were only there for one of the weddings, but out of your short time, who did you feel like was that MVP of that time that you spent?
I'm going to give it to my boy Ben Street. Started the summer off with a bang, winning the Calder Cup in Grand Rapids, so proud of him for that. And then, you know, he only was with me for Jared's wedding, but I know he went really big at the others. And becoming a father as well, he really didn't put the brakes on at all. If anything, he turned it up. So
yeah,
he's always in it for the boys, and I know he had a big summer and had a big extension with the Red Wings. So
yeah, that's a big summer. That's for sure. Him. I would have to say it's a tie for me between Smitty and Street. Those two guys really brought it to the table this summer, even though one of them is on the idiot list of the summer, but he really came.
And you could have been up there, Tom. You know, you bailed last minute on Jared's bachelor party, which was a shame. You know, I think Porter would agree that we had an amazing time, to say the least. But you know, we caught you. At least I caught you there at the end of the summer and a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
unbelievable. Well, I love it, boys. Yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate having you guys on the first training day with Tom Bardis. This is going every week, all season long. We're going to have new guests, a lot of recurring guests. We only have 12 guys in the league. So, and we only have we have a lot of good personalities in our league.
Can I say one quick reminder?
Yep.
Draft is Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. So
Monday,
8:30 Eastern. 7:30
p.m. Central Time. Come prepared. Have your whiteboards out. That's exciting. 7:30. Perfect,
all
boys.
Right.
Well, we appreciate having you on the show. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys on Monday.
Thanks for having us on.
See you, boys.
Thanks, Tommy.
See ya. And I'd like to thank Ray for producing the show here, and Ryan Snell and our commissioner and champion Ben Porter for having us, for coming on the show and talking about what he's not going to be able to do this year to do the same thing. So, great, boys. Well, we'll see you next week, and be ready for the draft because my team's coming in hot this year. I mean, and so, yeah, you guys are in fucking trouble. It's a problem. All right. I'll see you guys later.
Today's a training day, Officer Hoyt. Show you around, give you a taste of the business, you know?